clean statement. There's been 16 weeks of it.
Okay, well, we've had, good thing is that we held them points last week. That's ultimately what we're looking at. But we've got some issues we just got to get taken care of in the run. You know, some big plays in the running game. They hit us on a long one in a third down situation. But, you know, as we look at it, play after play after play, pretty good. We just have those spots for some big plays, whether it's quarterback scramble or we lost contain. So we got to shore that up, especially with this team, because we get, same type of mentality as last week. We're going to come in and try to establish the run. I think Marshawn Lynch looks better now than he did earlier in the season. He's really showing up. He's running hard, physical, with that anger that I know I'm accustomed to seeing. So he's playing really well for him, as well as our offensive line.
There were a lot of tackling issues in Kansas City. Were there different issues the other day in New York?
Yeah, I thought our tackling was a little bit better, but just on the perimeter, we had some perimeter issues. Some of it was we're in a tough situation at third down call. You can put that on me. We still have to get off blocks and make a play. We had some busts. We wanted to get out of some things based on looks, and we missed a couple of those, and that led to some plays. So more just being on our checks and getting us in the right position.
How big is it having Denzel come back?
That'll be good. Yeah, I'd like to see where he's at every day in practice. He's a little bit better yesterday, so. But he settles things down in there. Although I thought the linebackers played pretty well last week.
Derek Carr was just coming off a back injury when you guys faced him earlier. Does he look different now? Is he more mobile and presenting more of a different?
Well, if you see the Dallas game, he took off and ran for one of his longest runs of the season. So he's not afraid. We just had a conversation about how he'll extend plays. He'll use his feet to gain, yardage for first downs and third down situations. So, yeah, he's not afraid to do that. He's not looking leery or skittish or anything, if that's what you're asking.
Gus, this is going to be probably a pretty unique atmosphere. I'd imagine New Year's Eve. It's a smaller stadium. There are a lot of Raider fans and lots of
people have been telling me about this.
What have they been saying to you? What do you think it would be like to walk into a home stadium that's more than 50% silver and black? It's going to be unique.
I think it's really, from the very start of the season, we've talked, I know, defensively about we'll compete anywhere, anytime. It doesn't matter. Just tell us when the time is and we'll be there. And we want to have that mentality, so whether you're home or away, that shouldn't affect your play level and how you come out and your spirit. So, I think it's the same thing. The message will be the same. Hey, we'll compete anywhere, anytime. It happens to be at home this week. Let's go. And, because once the game starts, obviously you have to deal with crowd noise, and that aspect might be a little bit different, that you're dealing with it at home. But, we have a system in place, so, however it turns out that way, we'll respond to it.
Coach, if AP didn't practice yesterday, if he isn't able to go, would you feel comfortable with Shawn in that free safety role? And how has he developed over?
Shawn, I think the more and more, it's a little bit like Desmond King. Desmond King right away, I think we were like, okay, we got to protect this a little bit as he's learning the system. And then as the season's gone on, we put more and more on his plate. I think Shawn hasn't had as much playing time in those situations, but our feelings towards Shawn are the same. I think with more and more playing time, he's going to end up being a pretty good player. So, we'll see where he's at this week.
Any hunch on Adrian right now?
No, I just talked to him before meetings, and he said he felt better. Now, what does that mean? We'll have to wait and see.
How did Rochelle look too last week?
Good. Just like we thought. I talked to him. We were kind of excited about him. Here's what he gives us. He gives us some length inside. When especially like on third down situations. Right now, we're not, got a lot of length with our inside pass rush. So he brought that. We saw that where his length helped us out a little bit. So, I think that's intriguing for us if he can continue to build on that and be that inside rusher that provides some length. That's a good thing. Because just like what we had offensively, right? There's some batted balls down, and if you have length inside, that just helps the outside guys and can get some batted balls.
Gus, who does he compare to the guys you had maybe at Jacksonville or Seattle?
He's a little bit unique because his size and his length is more like a left end, a traditional left end. And some guys you move inside and see how they are. Jason Jones, you know, maybe not, you know, he's not as tall as he is, but you know, he's probably a little bit thicker.
But not as big as Red or something
No,
like that.
no, not like Red though. Yeah, gives you a little bit more juice, I think, as a pass rusher.
Well, this is an Ingram, seems like they haven't imposed their will on offenses the last 2 weeks or so, like they normally do. Anything you're seeing? In how
No, you know, I think one thing is a little bit. I don't say this is a major reason. It's just the release of, you know, how fast they're getting rid of the ball. But that still shouldn't affect it too much. If you have tight coverage in the back end, should allow them time. Obviously, two guys like that, they're going to see a lot of chips, you know, and protections turned to them. And so, you know, we got to battle that. We've got to do a good job as a staff, continue to move them around and not let teams have a beat on them. So, but, you know, I thought Joey played pretty well. If we're not getting to him and hitting him, there's quite a few hits. So it's close, and we had some opportunities. We did have opportunities last week that we missed. You know, whether we got too thick on the tackle and he escaped and got outside. So there's opportunities there, but I think sometimes it's like takeaways. They come in bunches. You know, just keep working, keep coming, and they'll come.
Gus, you mentioned that this defense, that the message has been any place, anywhere. This group has kind of developed an attitude a little bit over the season. Do you like that? And kind of how would you describe sort of their mentality as the years gone on?
Right. You know what? I don't promote it. The coaches, you know, on the defensive side, don't say, "Hey, we're going to play with a chip on our shoulder. This is who we are." I think you just kind of let it develop, and it takes on their own personality. But I do agree they have a personality. They're playing with confidence. Here's some guys that, you know, it might not be the ideal height and weight at some positions, but it doesn't affect them. And maybe they have that little bit of chip on the shoulder without saying it. You know, but they're playing, you know, like guys like AP and Jalil. We talked about them. That's not guys playing in the box. That's not how you draw it up. But how you play, I know there's been a lot of compliments and, you know, a lot of respect given to those two. So I think we have some guys like that have performed well when maybe some people think they played better than what people expected.
Because Jerry Tauscher has had trouble getting on the field because of guys that are playing in front of him. How has he continued to develop over in practice?
Well, I thought yesterday he probably had one of his best days. So the way he's practicing, the way he goes about his business, I think he's improved. He's a guy that we're, you know, trying to find a way to get on the field. And you know, Chris McCain, there's only so many spots, you know, so special teams has got to be big for him. And if he's ready to go, we just got to, you know, continue to find ways. But you know, with Isaac coming on some, you know, we'll still continue to use him. So, you know, it's tough to get him on the field, but he's doing a good job in practice. He's doing exactly what he needs to do.
Is he strictly a Leo? Can he play auto? What's versatility for him?
We did try it. We looked at him at some auto. I think his position in our system is more Leo.
You coached some really good defenses in Seattle, won the division, made the playoffs. You coached some good defenses in Jacksonville, put some really good units together. What's special about this year, having only 1 year with this group?
Right. I think how fast they pick things up. I mean, I didn't anticipate it that they would be on it this fast. There's some things, you know, you see so many different things in the league once the season gets going. And I anticipated having a lot of, okay, I didn't tell you about that one, and this one, you know, where they can gain a bank of knowledge. But, and I do think a lot of it would help was, I think when I was first hired here, I was excited because I thought this race to maturity would happen quicker maybe here than other places because of the offense we're going against. And I think that helped us. I do think that going against our offense every day in OTAs and training camp, we saw so many of the issues that when we weren't talking about and teaching some of these issues as they happened during the season, we already saw them in practice. So that part helped. And I was hoping, we were hoping that would happen, and I think that did. And then now it goes back to credit to the players. We've got a really sharp group, really sharp. They communicate very well. They know in order for us to be successful, they have to be on it. They have to be on everything. And they're very detailed, very detailed. I've been impressed with that.
Can you talk about what Casey Hayward has meant to your defense, his consistency, and how that helped you guys?
Well, it's always a discussion in this defense. What are you looking for? You know, is it a three? I remember my days with Coach Griffin at Tampa. It was, oh boy, you need a three technique. You need a Warren Sapp type guy. Oh no, you need a Rondé Barber. You need a Derek Brooks. You know, what is it? I think coaches get in that conversation, and I think that ideally, I mean, you have to have good rushers, you know, but that corner is very, very important to us. So for Casey to come in and have a guy play like he's playing, when you have that rushing cover, and you know, teams are going to attack the perimeter on us. We understand that. So you got to be able to stand up. So to have that corner that can move around or can stay on one side, play right and left. I've been with corners that only want to play on the left side, and to go challenge them and play them, you know, on both sides. Where Casey's got that flexibility, so he's very important part of it.
Good, thank you.
Okay, thank you.